Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. I think we're live. Someone tell me
We
if we're
are.
not
I
live.
see it.
It looks like we're live. Let me turn this music
We're
off. It's
live.
loud. That music is loud. Oh, good afternoon. It's me. I'm here. I'm in control. David's not here. That's dangerous. Why did you let me
What are
do
we gonna
this?
do?
Why did you let me do this? All right, great. So, welcome everyone to what is normally high shelf gaming. Tonight I have co-opted that. It is now horrific spooky gaming, where we're going to be playing a little cosmic horror role-playing game this evening. I think we normally do announcements right now, right? Some sort of announcements. So
Yep.
if you guys hang out here a while, you probably know what's up. But if you don't, on weekends we play Cyberpunk Red, the full rules, which I think are supposed to be released pretty soon to the public. We have them early because we're special. But yeah, I think we're playing on Sunday this time, the 4th. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't know what we're doing. I think we're starting chapter 3. Right? We're starting it
Yes.
Starting
properly.
chapter. Yep.
Starting
We are
chapter 3.
moving the steel into chrome oxy and other things in town.
Yeah, we're doing our stuff. So regular characters are back. You can all those folks that you love. You get to see them again, and the ones you hate too. Wednesdays we've got Blades in the Dark, like always. You'll catch me, Heather, and Casey there as well. Like we're here most of the time. Let's be honest. And then what is it? Tuesday the 20th, I think, is the next
Yes.
werewolf game.
Yep.
Yes.
Hopefully that is concrete enough that David doesn't get mad at me for saying it, but that's what we're going to go with. 20th of October. Catch more
If
werewolf.
anyone should be in trouble, it should be me because I gave you the info.
That's fair. Okay. But that's not what we're here to do tonight. Tonight we're here to play the Cthulhu hack. The Cthulhu hack it's a different game than we were playing last week. I know that's probably a little confusing, but that's what we're going to do. So the Cthulhu hack, this book here, I'm going to pull a mic and have the book right here. It is based off of a game called The Black Hack, which is sort of an OSR reimagining of Dungeons and Dragons. But this is a reimagining of, the Cthulhu games, right? Cosmic horror. And yeah, that's what we're here to do tonight. So we're going to be investigators. Well, not me, I'm going to be monsters mostly, but they're going to be investigators and they're going to figure out kind of what's the deal. So let's see. No one knows your characters yet. So should we introduce our characters? Or should we do that like in the fiction? Or should we do it normally?
In the fiction, because we have to introduce ourselves to each other.
That's true. Okay. Good call. Good call. So let's set the scene of it. So we find ourselves in the city of Arkham, Massachusetts. But not the Arkham, Massachusetts of last week. That was in the late 80s. We're in the present day. And I'll put quotes around present day. It is at some nebulous point in the 21st century. A lot of things are similar, but a lot of things are different. Of course, we still have Miskatonic University and its influence over the town, as well as just a lot of stuff that goes down in Arkham that is not normal. And the people who live here know that. Right now, where we find ourselves is once again in the halls of a classroom building at Miskatonic University. This time, our 3 players this evening are being led along by one of the linguistics professors by the name of Dr. Tobias Grimshaw. And he is showing all of you to what he has described as your office, your workspace. All of you have come to campus various times because all of you have seen things that don't make sense. They are maybe dangerous, maybe not, but there are things that have disturbed you and kind of altered your life. And that led you to Miskatonic University, which has this wonderful program that will listen to you and believe you, which is not something that most of the town will do. And Dr. Grimshaw has offered you all not employment per se, but a way to sort of deal with that stuff, in that a lot of weird stuff goes down in town and somebody's got to look into it. It's not going to be the police. So, plucky volunteers from the community are about the best they can do. So that's where you all are now. And as Dr. Grimshaw, he's around 40, he's got some, or he looks around 40. He's got some graying hair. And unlike the previous Dr. Tobias Grimshaw that you all have met, he does not wear gloves, but he does wear long sleeves with very tight cuffs. And he opens a door into this dusty kind of office space. There's a desk, a globe, a map of the city, just walls of filing cabinets, and a mountain of papers that have been left unfiled for some time. It's dusty, it's cramped, but it is presumably what you all will be using to work out of for the near future. And as he shows you, and he says, well, it ain't much, but it's the space we've got. It don't cost you nothing to use it. Don't cost us nothing to use it. Could I get y'all's names again, just to make sure I got the paperwork done right? Because when you check out these rooms like this, it's a hassle, let me tell you. And he will sort of gesture to the three of you who are standing there. And what does he see? And we can start. We can start this way. I looked at where my bookshelf was and I pointed. We'll do this way with, on stream, that's Casey.
All right. It'd be Landon Cartwright.
Pleasure.
Landon Cartwright. And Landon Cartwright is a skinny but fit man. You know, mixed race. Short cropped hair, no beard. He's wearing a flannel right now with his best jeans and his best cowboy boots. No hat though. He's being respectful, of course.
Great. So the hat's in the hands, right?
Yep. Hat's
got
right
the hat,
underneath
it's
it.
in the hand.
Yeah.
Tucked underneath the arm. Perfect. Okay.
Yep.
And he says, all right, Mr. Cartwright, it's a pleasure to meet you. And Miss
Maya Green.
Maya Green.
Maya Green. She is probably around like 5'7", 5'8", has bright red hair. She is like wearing a leather jacket over a nice blouse and like slim cut slacks, looking just really put together, almost like she could be a teacher here potentially. And she's just eyeing everything with like kind of an excitement in her eyes.
Mm-hmm. He says, and you, sir, pointing to the last gentleman in the room, Gavin.
Lloyd Sanborn. And he sees Lloyd is still close to the door. He has a long trench coat, but it's clearly been worn a couple years, maybe. It's he has a gray beanie on. He's about 5'10". Everything in his face been slightly wrinkled. He's in his mid 40s, early 50s. Beard, also very scraggly.
Great news, all right, Mr. Sanborn. All right, well, thank y'all for volunteering for us. Not a lot of folks want this job. I won't lie to you. And
it sounds exciting.
Sure, exciting, right? We'll see. But we've just a lot of stuff that the community kind of sends us as far as these things that go bump in the night. A lot of it turns out to just be stray cats and whatnot, but some of it we find has some credibility, as I'm sure you all know what that means. But the space is yours to sort of organize as you see fit. And there's a lot of sort of unfinished business laying around. Our last group kind of quit after a particularly difficult investigation, but yeah, it's all here. I've got a file on the table there for you with something I think ought to be pretty easy to knock out, get your feet wet, that sort of thing. Do y'all have any questions for me?
What kind? What? Go ahead.
I get to sleep here, right? I get this. That helps. Stay here.
I mean, we can pull a cot in if you need one. We got some of those in in the closet. Some of the grad students like to use those around finals time. But yeah, we can pull you one in here if you need. Is that something that you need, Mr.
Yeah,
Sandberg?
if that's possible, yes, please.
Yeah, do you now you don't really have the meal plan or anything available unless you're enrolled for classes. Is there anything else you might need accommodations wise?
I can figure everything else out.
Okay. All right. That's great. Okay, well, is there any other questions y'all have?
Before we dive into the report, like, what can you tell us about the job you have for us?
Oh, I mean, okay, yeah. And he'll walk over to the desk and pick up the file that he's got and kind of toss it over. He said, well, we had a bunch of folks down over on the I think it's probably like the north side of town. It's across the river where all those manor houses are. They've been seeing something kind of funny going on with one of the houses. It's been empty for probably about 20 years, but they've been hearing a bunch of activity, seeing lights, things like that. A bit strange. Not really sure what's going on. Police, they just, I mean, they just came up with it. Somebody lives there, which that is questionable at best as far as police work goes. But what are you going to do? So I mean, some members of the community, the feller over there at the synagogue also was a bit worried because it's pretty close down the street from them, so they wanted us to check it out. They reached out to the university.
Okay.
But that's kind of what we don't really know much more than that. It's the old Crowley house. That I mean, you can probably look that up somewhere if you need more information on it. But
Indeed.
it's about as much as we've got. If y'all run into anything particularly strange, I do have a private collection of books that may prove useful, but I don't like to bring those out unless it's absolutely necessary. They can be a pretty heavy read. But is there? Can I help y'all? Is it anything other than that? I mean, that's the rundown. As far as the job goes, just kind of poke around and see what's up. I mean, nobody's expecting y'all to work miracles, but if you can give folks some peace of mind, that'd be preferable. So
We get it done, Doc. We're doesn't seem too hard.
well, I certainly hope not. I thought this one would be. We've got some more complicated cases on the back burner, but I figured I'd let y'all sort of dip your toes in. This one seemed pretty benign. Probably just some hooligans.
Why did the last group quit?
Oh, well, we had a pretty good group going. Well, I say we. It was my pa and the faculty here had a pretty good group going some 30-ish years ago, late 80s, early 90s, and we just had a whole bunch of folks go missing. It was a real bad. If y'all are any of y'all from here?
No, sir. I'm from Utah.
Utah?
No,
Okay. Canada? That's not here. What about you, Miss Green?
No, I moved here a few years ago.
Yeah, well, there was a big, you probably find rumors that pretty much everybody knows what happened. It's just the whole party of folks just up and disappeared. It's the strangest thing. Never found them since. But that kind of gave people some cold feet. So they didn't have much interest in investigating this sort of thing after that.
Oh, so things have been left to run wild around here for 30 years?
I mean, more or less. I've done a little bit of work myself, but there's only so much one person can do.
Of course. No, that sounds fantastic.
I only started here, about a decade ago. So
that's no, this will be great. We'll get so much done.
I'm sure. I have the utmost faith. Y'all seem like good folks from the the conversations we've had. Is there anything else I can get y'all? I mean, the library's open to you. If you tell them you're from the university, they'll probably let you into public records down at City Hall. Probably get access to any information you might need. Of course, you can always just talk to folks. People around here are mostly pretty friendly, so it should work out fine.
Yeah, sounds great.
Well, in the house, just real quick, sir. The house was how you pronounce it? Quanley? Crawley?
Crowley is a name. He's
Crowley.
been in the Crowley family since the 20s, I believe, 20s or 30s. But yeah, old Mr. Crowley, well, he passed on in about 20 years ago in the house. Nobody ever really moved in. I think the
So there
city.
ain't no family here.
Yeah, I think the city technically owns it now. Crowley was an old feller. Didn't really have much in the way of kin. But yeah, I'm sure you can dig up all that kind of stuff elsewhere. He perished on the premises. But all that sort of information should be down at the morgue, maybe, if they did an autopsy or whatever. I don't really know
That's
what
already
happened there.
beginning to sound like poltergeists.
Poltergeists?
Ghosts, poltergeists.
Yeah, could be, I guess. Yeah.
Maya would flip out like a notebook from like a pocket and start writing things down.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Poltergeist, maybe. Whatever y'all find, you just let me know. All right.
Yes, sir.
And if it stops, even better. If you can't stop it, then that's another thing. That's okay. We'll just send that up the ladder to somebody else and see if we can't get the police to do their duty when it comes to that. If it's hooligans, they got to get in there and run them out.
Of course.
So they drag their feet. It's the way it is. But is there anything else I can help y'all with? I'll let y'all get to work if y'all don't need anything. Do you have a discretionary budget if you need just a little bit of stuff? But this is technically in the School of Arts and Sciences, so it's not the most well-funded. I'll be transparent with you all, but if you need just something, you can ask, or
Okay.
if you send me receipts, I can get y'all reimbursed. Anything like that.
We'll make sure to do
Okay.
that.
But yeah, if y'all need anything, just let me know. I'll get out of your hair. I feel like I'm hovering.
I assume we have his cell phone number.
Yeah, you'd have his cell phone number. I think probably for Dr. Grimshaw, what you would have is his office number and his email.
Okay.
Like a phone in his office and then his email address, because that's pretty standard university stuff. But yeah, and then after that he'll kind of give y'all. He's not wearing a hat, but he'll kind of do the little gesture and kind of make his way out of the office. Close the door behind him.
Well, wonderful. Our first job.
You went real quick to that ghost stuff. It could just be kids. I mean, I was a kid once. I got into some property back in the day. Had some fun. Get some copper.
It's totally plausible. But so are ghosts.
Fair enough.
What do you think, Lloyd?
Lloyd has moved from the door and is kind of like moving towards like maybe old dusty bookcases and looking at that and going, I don't know. We probably just have to go investigate.
So where y'all want to go first? I mean, well, we should probably look at the. He'll pick up the.
First.
Yeah. Look at the file first.
Yeah, so looking through the file, the information that's there for you is the address of the Crowley house, and then a collection of different complaints from the community. Some people have heard kind of sounds, other people have seen lights kind of flashing. And then there's one that pretty clearly says the house looks brand new at night. Like it looks different. There's a couple of those in there, but that's about all the information that is in the file. You get the idea just kind of looking around that all these filing cabinets are just filled with about the same thing, an address and a list of complaints attached to it.
Okay.
They kind of just keep things. There's so many that they just keep things pretty sparse, and there's a ton of unfiled paperwork just everywhere.
When was the complaint for the house looks brand new at night? A day, like is it a day or a month or time of like how
this
long
has
ago
been
that
going
was?
on for about the last week, is what you can tell.
Last week, so this is fairly
Yeah,
recent.
it's
Okay.
recent, yeah.
Ain't that puzzling? So, what would y'all like to start? We got the morgue to look at how the man died. We can go and check out the property at the what'd he say? At the city hall, was it?
Mm-hmm. What time of day is
Or we
it?
could just
Ethan?
He'd probably got. Well, okay, y'all tell me. So, do you guys work like day jobs? That this would be like an after work kind of situation, or is this like you guys met after lunch or in the morning even?
This does not interfere with my normal job.
I never really said I had a job. So
Okay.
right now, I mean, as long as the money comes in, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we can say it's probably mid morning, probably 10 or 11.
Okay.
Well, I think we should definitely check out the place at night. Like, not go in, but like, that's a pretty interesting claim, right? The house looks brand new at night. But maybe what you were saying, go into City Hall to get some information on the Crowley house.
Yeah, maybe we can run into somebody who might know them.
Mm.
And
We
then
can canvass
check
the neighborhood.
the body.
Well, he's been dead for 20 years.
Hmm.
But we could go to the morgue as well if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
See if he didn't die of mysterious circumstances. You know, where I'm from, spirits can leave imprints if it's a particular violent death.
Exactly. Poltergeist.
Let's hope not. So I say we go to the city hall first.
Okay.
Get some info on the
Also,
house.
you guys don't have to go to the same place. I will say that. This is one of those games, like being in modern times and things like that. It's one of those games where you guys splitting up to do research is totally understandable. And kind of spreading out your resources that way. I mean, but if you guys do want to stick together, that's also fine. I'm just saying you have cell phones. So like if you find something out, you just text everybody else. It's weird, right? To just have a cell phone, but yeah. that is the situation.
We can split up and not be punished hard.
That's not true. We're still gonna get punished.
Depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. This is the investigation part. So like presumably you're not going to get attacked in a library. Right.
Unless I decide to go diving into Ghostfield.
Yeah, go diving. Yep.
Shut up, Mike. In chat.
Yeah, no, just let them do what they do. Come on.
I see you, Mike. I would like to go to City Hall, so we can do that together.
Okay. Does anybody else want to go to City Hall?
We're also like just learn. We just met,
Right.
so I think sticking together right now to figure out how we all work is probably a better idea.
Okay. Cool. So how do you guys get to City Hall?
Can I say I have
buses.
A pickup truck?
You can have a pickup truck. If y'all want to do personal transportation, there's personal and public transportation. It's it's the.
I would imagine that Lloyd knows like good bus routes to take.
Yeah, but I mean that's up to you. If somebody has a pickup truck and everybody wants to pile in, that is okay. I just ask for fun. It doesn't affect anything.
I got this old pickup truck. I mean, it ain't much, but it's clean, and it got me all the way here from Utah. If you want to use that,
I'll meet you at the City Hall.
I'll go.
Lloyd,
with
you
you.
want to ride? All right, come on.
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
All right, great. How is Maya getting to City Hall?
I imagine Maya has a sedan
Okay,
since
a
she
sedan.
lives here.
Got
Yeah.
it. Cool. So she's got her own car.
Mhm.
Great. Cool.
It's a
So,
reliable car.
do Landon and Lloyd share an awkward car ride over because you don't know each other, or does somebody try to make small talk?
I'm
Before
definitely making.
before they even get in the truck, Lloyd is gonna like just dust himself off and try to like, like be clean in the car. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd, you don't have to do all that, my man. It's an old work truck, and he opens. It's got like the Mexican blanket on it. It's like, it's like, come on in, my man. It got me all the way here.
Thank you.
So, where you from?
Canada.
Canada. You're a long way from home, aren't you?
So are you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Canada's closer than Utah, just
Yeah.
like by a lot.
Yeah, you know, by a
It
lot.
depends where in Canada.
I mean,
I'm,
you just
I'm
said
4 hours
Canada.
from Canada.
I mean, it would just
True
be
enough.
small talk.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and Lloyd would probably be like maintaining awkward silences or like very short worded answers.
Gotcha. Great.
Not in a mean way, but just like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just not a very talkative individual.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Okay. In her
yes.
car by herself. Maya has a recording app on her phone that she just records notes in.
Okay.
A very old school private eye, like, well, not old school, but vintage private eye.
Yeah.
Recording notes on that, and definitely impressions of the people that she has met so far.
Cool. I like it. And so I would say it probably takes no more than like a half hour to get across the city. I have a map of Arkham, but not one that's ready to show anybody. So unfortunately, we don't have any of those kind of visual aids going on. But maybe, when I get better at the streaming thing, we might have them. But some half hour later, you all are able to pull up. You probably have to park a couple blocks away at some like free public parking because this is a downtown area. There's not exactly a parking lot anywhere. And you make your way down the street to the city hall where y'all can kind of meet up on the steps. It's your typical city hall. It's a bigger like brick building, maybe some like fancy facade or something on it to make it look like it's all official. But yeah, other than that, it just stands before you. It's, middle of the business day, so people are coming in and out, moving around.
Who got there first?
That's a great question. Who got there first?
How long
who's
have you
the
been in
faster
town?
driver?
Landon?
Yeah.
Long, probably 6 months at best.
Okay. Oh, I say that. So dumb. I'll get there first. It's fine.
Okay. If anything, he would have followed you if you've been here longer. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going.
That was more of my.
I got yeah.
You got the GPS pulled up, and it takes you on a kind of a questionable route because it doesn't account for the fact that you can't park in front of City Hall. You have to go down the street, so it's like a whole thing. It's that downtown bullshit that everybody's had to deal with, where it's like, I need to go where I want to go, but I have to go to parking instead. Yeah. But say no more than 30 minutes later, both of you arrive. Both groups all arrive in front of City Hall.
So Landon would just start going in.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
Just waiting on the steps.
Yep.
And then Lloyd would follow them.
Cool. So after you guys sort of arrive inside, there is like the reception area where they're like, the lady behind the desk, like, okay, yeah, well, what can I help you with? Is it, she kind of looks you all over.
The clerk's department.
Clerk's department. Okay, yeah, we'll send you that way. Is it public records?
Yes.
That sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And she'll be like, it's on the 3rd floor. Big sign, can't miss it. Don't go to the 4th floor, though. That's, divorces and civil suits and stuff like that. It gets a little nasty up there. But
Okay, thank you.
yeah, 3rd floor down the hall.
tips his hat. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Aren't you a Southern gentleman?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
You have a good day now.
It's hard to not do the accent. I don't know what's happening. But everybody wants to be friendly and Southern. I don't know. But yeah, they just send you all, or she sends you to the 3rd floor. And as you guys sort of get in the elevator and ride up and all that kind of stuff, you eventually come to this sort of like office that's got like a desk, and then there's a door that goes back into where you can see there's just shelves and shelves of like filing sort of system. There's filing cabinets, but then also on shelves they're like big plastic crates filled with like individual files and stuff like that. And there's a very bored looking teenager at the desk, who's just kind of like on their phone.
Excuse me. We're here to look for some records.
Huh?
Hi.
Yeah.
We're here to get some records. I
Okay.
can give you an address.
Sure. Yeah, what you got?
I will give him the address that was in the notes and the full name of Crowley, which I'm assuming was also in the notes.
Yeah, so Benjamin Crowley is the
Benjamin,
gentleman
thank
who lived there. Take that and be like, okay, and he like types some stuff in the computer, kind of like looks, and he just kind of sits there for a sec.
Birth certificate, death certificate.
Yeah. Hold on. It's like fucking dang, and he like smacks the top of the monitor a few times. And he's like, he kind of sees us looking, he's like, you're right, and then he kicks the tower that's kind of under the desk.
Oh,
and he's like, okay, yeah, I got it. That's gonna be. He kind of looks back at all the different. He's like, yeah, give me a sec. Stands
okay,
up.
thank you.
Goes back and he comes back with this plastic tub that's got. It doesn't have a ton of stuff in it. It's got like 3 or 4 kind of stacked folders. He's like, yeah, this is what we got on that. Kind of all goes together.
This whole thing?
Yeah. It's like blueprints, deeds, incident reports.
Oh,
Incident reports.
Yeah, whatever you want. It's all public record. What do you want? Freedom of Information
all
Act.
of
Come on.
All of it.
that's
We need all of
not
that, son.
quite how it. We'd like to look through all of it, please.
Yeah, whatever. Table's over there. And you can look and see that like through like a door that has like a glass window in it. There's a room with just like tables and a coffee machine and stuff like that. Seems to be just like a nice sitting area for people to look through stuff. He's like, if you want to like check those out, I have to make copies. We don't really do the. Can't really take them out of here.
Okay.
Does that okay?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's normal.
Cool.
Thank you.
Give me a 20. I might let you take one folder.
I'll wink at the kid. All right, we'll see about that.
Cool. All right.
Landon,
Yeah,
you
like-
might mind grabbing this tub?
And he picks up the tub.
And
Like,
he sits back down. He just phone right in face, just like
what are you
just looks
playing?
bored. He's like, playing? No, I'm just on Twitter, man.
That's gonna rot your brain, kid. And as he walks away,
You hear like an audible like, like just
Just do your thing.
the kid's like maybe 18, might
Right.
be younger than that. Could be like the minor, like I have permission to work kind of thing.
right.
16 to 18 max. But yeah, you all are able to take your tub into this room. No one else is in there currently, but there is a coffee machine that has like a pot of coffee in it. Like a little cooler that's got some waters and stuff. It's actually pretty nice.
Cool.
Lloyd would get a cup of coffee and a water bottle and put it in his jacket.
Cool. Probably not the cup of coffee. There's no
Not the
lids.
cup of coffee. Yeah. The water bottle in his pocket has the cup of coffee in his hand.
Cool. That might be an issue, but yeah. So you guys have this big crate of files. And so now we get to do the game mechanic stuff.
Yay.
Because you all have to make heads or tails of this, because there's a lot of bloat. Just sort of flipping through, you can see there's a lot of stuff in here that is not going to be relevant at all. It's everything from like records of when, exterminators visited to meter readings. Like it's all there. They have like everything on this house. Because it is currently owned by the city. You can see that pretty easily. Like the city holds the deed. So what we have to do now is in Cthulhu Hack, we have these things called resources, and that's how you do your investigation. And the one we need now is called flashlights. And that is your ability to sort of glean information from your surroundings or from books or from what have you. So I need someone to take the lead on this and make a flashlights roll for me.
I can take the lead.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll that up.
I'm just checking if I want to use deduction or not, and I don't. So.
Oh, wait for it to pop up on the stream. Okay, a 12. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Cthulhu Hack, which is probably everybody, myself included, the way resource rolls work is everybody has a die that's assigned to it, and Maya has a pretty formidable D12. That's about as high as it goes. When you roll your resource dice, if you get a 1 or a 2, it goes down a level. So that D12 would turn into a D10. But if you get anything else, you're good. So we're good. And Maya is able to quickly sort of go through all of these documents and figure out sort of what's
in neat little piles.
In neat little piles, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sort of information you find is, one, the house is typical manor house fare for Arkham. 2 stories with a cellar. Crowley, Mr. Benjamin Crowley is the only known resident. The house was in the family's name since the 1920s, but he's the only known resident. And as you've been told, died on the property in around 2000, so about 20 years ago. After which the house has been left abandoned. You see the records for the repossession, which occurred some like 3-4 years after that. The house kind of just sat for a while. And you do see a few sort of incident reports that have been kind of just filed away. Like the police don't have them anymore. They just came here, just filtered through. I don't know if that's how it works in real life, but that's how it works now. Of just general weirdness around the Crowley house. People kind of gave it a wide berth and saying like the yard looked bad and the music was too loud at night and, lights were too bright. All that normal, just like we have neighbors and we don't want to have neighbors kind of stuff. It's kind of what you get the idea from. You do see references to like an incident report that happened the night of Mr. Crowley's death, but there is none of that stored here. That is still being held at the police station. And there's sort of like a reference number in the folders that you could give at the police station and presumably be given access to those files.
I would definitely write down that reference number.
Mhm.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's about all you find is stuff that's like public record.
Okay.
And I would say all of that, because you have to wade through all of the stuff that doesn't matter, that probably took you all about an hour.
Shoo. This man seemed like not like people.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
From here, some of the incident reports say that people pretty much kept a wide berth, and from the man, and house seemed to be in dilapidated state, which is kind of weird. Saying now we got that report saying it looks brand new at night.
How old were those reports? you think?
So the sort of like timeline of the condition of the house that you get is that sort of in the last 2 or so years, the house kind of fell a bit behind because you can see very regular like maintenance occurring, like exterminators and roofers coming to repair the roof, and you see all those records that go up until about 98 or so, and then it kind of falls off for a bit. The house really started looking bad after it was unoccupied for a few
Right.
decades. So around
So
the time that Crowley died, you would assume that the house looked comparable to the rest of the houses on the block, if not like an unkempt yard or stuff like that.
So these incident reports were after his death for the most part.
All the ones of like weird lights, weird sounds, except for the ones that are in your file, the ones in these files came from while he was still alive.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of ramp up, you can tell, after about 97, about the last 3 years that he was there.
Okay.
And you assume, not having like a birth certificate or a death certificate or anything of him. Oh wait, I guess you guys would have that. Yeah. The guy's old. Or he was old, because having occupied the house in 1920, he was already of legal age, and he died in the year 2000. So he was 100, if not a little older, but at least 100.
Okay.
Birth certificates, there's a couple in there, and they don't exactly match up, which is not uncommon when you get back that old. But you estimate between 100 and 105 was
Okay.
his age at his time of death.
What does his death certificate say was the cause of death?
So I think like they have to put something on it, right?
Yes.
Like that you can't just write natural causes on a death certificate.
Not-
But that's kind of the addendum. The addendum says natural causes. And the cause of death says like, cardiac arrest or something like that. Whatever the technical term is of his heart stopped.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
And you can see give me another flashlights roll just to really inspect this death certificate.
1 sec.
Because Maya would have probably some experience with death certificates just based on her hobbies and career. So
Her hobbies. Yes. 7.
7. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you look at this death certificate and you can see that it has been that this is not the original. And that this has been signed by one mortician in the year 2000, but then in another mortician about 5 years later.
Wait, what?
That this is, you get the idea that this document has kind of, there might have been some sort of discussion about this death certificate. It seems like it had been like renewed or redone after a certain amount of time.
Do
Like, the
we have
dates
those
don't quite
names, or
match
do we
up.
just know that they've changed?
So you do have the name. The mortician who was actually there when it happened. His name is Liam Walsh. And the other one, who would be there currently, you assume, signed it afterward, was James Waits. Waits.
Okay. I want to take the death certificate.
Okay.
So I'll let the kid know that I'd like to take it.
As you all kind of go out of the sitting room, you see that there's a sign on the counter that says "Out to lunch."
Cool. I'm taking the death certificate.
Yeah. No one's
Are
here to
there-
stop you.
Are there any other records that we would deem kind of important?
So I mean, like, stuff that you might want like a photocopy of would maybe be there's like a blueprint of the house that covers all
Yeah.
3 floors and stuff like that.
You said this is the first century, right?
What'd you say?
You said this is like we have cell phones and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
actual like.
Yeah, you could also just take a picture of it. If you
That
want.
I was like, I would take pictures of it.
You got some like buzzing noise on your mic, Casey.
My mic's almost dead, so I had to plug it in.
Okay, it sounds like an amp. Like, you know,
Okay.
an amp. Yeah, when it's like half plugged in. Kind of sound we're getting. Yeah, you guys can take pictures of all this stuff with your smartphones. You don't have to like steal it or anything if you don't want to, but if you just gotta have that piece of paper, you can take it with you.
Better.
Yeah, that's good.
Lloyd would get another cup of coffee.
What was that?
This
Kevin?
is
Lloyd would get another cup of coffee.
Okay. Great.
Can I get to the photocopier?
Actually, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like,
then I am.
It's one of those half door situations.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can see that it locks, but you can reach over it and unlock it.
Yeah. I will take some documents, birth certificates, death certificates. There's no marriage certificate or anything like that.
Nope.
Okay. So those things, potentially the blueprints, depending on how big they are.
Okay. Yeah, I would say the blueprints are probably too big for the copier. Like they're full size, like floor plans.
That's what I was wondering, if they are that big.
Yeah, so that, I mean, they're full size, but if you like stand on a chair, take a picture with your smartphone, like you get
That's
all
fine.
of it.
I was definitely.
It's one of those
Okay.
things.
I was definitely doing that.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll make copies of the certificates.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so you have those paper copies. All right, is there anything else you guys want to do at City Hall?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you can take that, like tub of files. You can really put it anywhere, but you kind of like maybe you guys put it on the counter, right? Like by the desk, because that's where it was handed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you leave it wherever you want, but it's kind of up to y'all. There's really no consequence either way.
I would definitely clean everything up and put it back.
Okay.
Same.
Right.
Yeah.
You also realize that there is like a sign-in sheet on the counter of like who's been in and out of records. The kid did not even mention it, so
Cool.
you can sign it or not.
Maybe not.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So where are you guys headed next?
Well, what do you think, guys?
I would look at that piece of paper that I wrote down. I was like, kind of curious on how the man died. And this,
Absolutely.
do y'all want to go to the police station?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a walk from here.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he sees
it'd be a couple blocks.
he's a little nervous. Lloyd is
that-
a little nervous when he says okay.
Okay. Let's do it.
Also, thank you, Mike, for gifting us a
Hey.
2 frizzy gizmo.
Oh.
Aw, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
You're awesome. All right. So you guys are able to walk a few blocks down to the police station. There are probably 2 in Arkham, to be honest. There's the downtown one, and then there's the one that's on the other side of the river where the university is. But the one that is referenced on this, like the one that would have a morgue, is the downtown one. The other one's probably just like a small, like, station with like a jail, and that's it. Probably doesn't have the full morgue and all that kind of stuff going on. And as you walk in, you see yet another receptionist. You've dealt with a ton of those today. But, you know, she's blonde in sort of a police uniform, hair tied up. And she says, "What can I help you guys with? Would you like to file a
Why,
report?"
man? No, man, but I do have this case number. I would like to take a look at that case. We're doing a little investigation, man.
Oh,
Wonder if the could help us out.
are y'all PIs or something?
Yes, ma'am.
We're from the university.
Oh.
Well.
Are y'all in that, y'all investigate, like, all the spooky shit?
Yeah, actually.
Cool. Yeah, my my aunt was in that back in the, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Really?
So it was a
What
wild
was her
ride.
name?
Abigail.
And what's your name? I'm sorry.
Oh, my name's Darcy.
All right, man. On this
Uh,
door, if you
so-
kindly point us in the right direction.
yeah. What? So are you looking for just general records, or what are you looking for?
Well, so I would show her the number that I wrote down. I was like, I guess I'm looking for this case right here, man. I'm a little new to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that's probably in the same place. Like records and stuff like that. That's down the hall on your right. Should be a couple nice fellows there who will help you out.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess we'll head down to wherever.
Yeah, and I mean you can head down there. You can see it's your typical, like, if you guys watch a lot of like CSI, like cop drama stuff. There's just it's the typical like bullpen kind of area. There's a bunch of desks and a bunch of overworked looking individuals just kind of sitting around at all of them. They look overworked, but based on your experience in the town, it doesn't seem like they are super over. They just work long shifts. Who knows? Yeah, and as you guys make your way down the hall to the right, you can see there are sort of 2 gentlemen kind of tossing a tennis ball to each other in the records room. And you can see it's kind of a similar situation as in City Hall.
Hello. Excuse me.
And you see one of them as the ball kind of comes toward him, he turns his head, it kind of smacks one side, and he's like, "Oh, shit, Ryan, fuck!" And then he gets up and
Sorry.
he's like, "Can I help you guys?"
Yeah, I got this case number here. We
Yeah.
would like to take a look at.
Sure. Can you all sign in for me? Gotta kind of know who's accessing this kind of stuff. Who are you guys with? Huh? Your own
The university.
Oh, okay.
We're at the university.
Cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, no problem. Then with criminal justice majors, do a little case study.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. He says, "Oh, okay, that's an old one." And he sort of turns around and goes and grabs a stack. It's one of those sort of metal kind of boxes that's got the hanging like separators in it with just paper stacked in between. He's like, Yeah, this is what we got on that one. That was an old one, but a lot of that stuff's been kind of boxed, but I think all the relevant stuff's still inside. So,
Do
big
you know anything
stuff.
about the Crowley house?
Oh, Crowley House?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than that it's abandoned, kind of dilapidated.
Gotcha.
That's about it. I
Seen
was
any kids or anything?
no kids around there. Maybe a few kids. I want to say maybe some of my classmates broke in there for like a spooky
Party.
kind of. I mean, more like you stay the night there, you get like a pack of Twizzlers or something. I don't know. One of those
Anything?
sorts of things.
Any of your friends?
There's a lot of houses around here like that. Any of my friends? Not that I keep in touch with. That was like middle school, high school stuff. Been out of there for a while, so living the
Well,
dream.
Aren't we all? Thanks. We'll just take a look at these.
Okay, yeah. And who signed the sign-in sheet?
Maya will.
Okay, and yeah, Miss Green, just bring those back when you're done.
Can we leave with them?
There's you can just sit in like the waiting area or
Okay, just
find
checking.
Yeah, I would don't take them out of the building if that's okay.
Yep, makes sense.
That's
Thank you.
illegal technically, and have to arrest you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And turn back, roll
Sir.
eyes.
And you see him kind of turn around and kind of looks over his shoulder and he waits for you guys to round the corner, and then you hear just a as it sounds like he just hurled that tennis ball at the other guy.
Nice.
But yeah, there's like all these places with records probably have areas for people to sit and look at those records, right? I would imagine.
Mhm.
We'll just say that there's another, probably like the break room, honestly. And you can see, officers in and out getting like cups of coffee and getting like bagels and stuff, like their snacks. They're just coming in and out about their day. They don't really pay you much attention.
Let's see what we got.
Yep. So that's gonna be another flashlights roll.
Do you guys want me to lead it again, or?
I think you have the best research. I only got a D6.
Quick
I mean,
question.
you've
Go
got
ahead.
that big old D12, and I'd just love to knock that down a peg or two. So
I
just keep
don't want you
rolling.
to. No, that's the
So-
problem.
Does
What was that
savvy?
hit?
It says you gain an additional step in flashlights. Does that
That
mean I
is
can
when
just add another
you-
die?
That means that has already happened. If you take savvy, you up your flashlights by 1.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I think I need to do that then.
Yeah, that is like, because if you take that later on in the game as like an advancement, then you can do that like kind of whenever you want.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what that gives you.
Yeah. I mean, even with my savvy, your flashlight's still better, so it makes sense that you do it.
Let's deplete
Okay.
it. Let's deplete that.
Shut up.
Don't worry, it'll happen. It'll happen eventually.
There, 5.
5. Ooh, we're getting closer. Getting closer. Yeah, you sort of dig through all this stuff, and you got the police report where they've got filed down like a bunch of like just things that they noticed. And you notice that it's surprisingly clean. Like the police report, it's just no noticeable signs of forced entry, nothing like that. He was just found sitting in his study, in his chair, deceased, presumably. Called.
Who was the officer?
I don't have one at the top of my head, but it's not.
Oh, okay. Well, that tells me it wasn't important.
Yeah, it was just Officer Smith. just
Would it say who reported it?
Yeah, so they received a 911 call that describes some sort of weird sounds, like maybe a struggle or a break-in coming from next door. Which next door is a good ways away on that side of town because it's it's like manor houses, like bigger houses that kind of have yards and stuff like that. And there are walls actually around, which you guys would have known from the blueprints that there's actually a wall that goes around the house. But yeah, people said they saw some weird. Whoever called said that they saw some weird kind of light stuff happening from the upstairs rooms, and sounded like broken glass, maybe.
Does this paper look newer, or does it maybe look like it's been altered some way, or maybe like is the shade of white slightly brighter than other shades?
Give
of
me
the
a
same color?
flashlights roll for that.
6.
6. Yeah, you get the idea. These aren't 20-year-old papers. Because anything that sits in a filing cabinet that long kind of gets some age on it. They're not brand new by any means, but like it, you would
like that yellow 20-year-old paper.
Yeah, it doesn't have that old kind of look to any of this stuff. A lot of it seems maybe a bit newer. And you see that in here, the sort of like autopsy report and stuff that describes like natural causes and all that stuff is only signed by the newer mortician, Mr. Waits.
Looks like we have a mortician to talk to.
Seem like everything's changed. Like what?
That's what we're here to find out, right?
There's a part that out of character that my character wants to go to the house now. This might be when we split. If you like, I'm starting because
Okay. Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
This is a sandbox. Kick all the sand you want.
I was gonna fight you. No, you're not going to that house.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the day. It's supposed to be dilapidated and abandoned. So what's the issue?
What's the problem? Well, I can go talk to the mortician if that's what you want to do. What would you like to do, Lloyd?
I would go at the house. I would go with Landon.
Okay.
So
great.
and he'd say, I'll go to the house.
I'm sure we exchange cell phone numbers.
You guys would probably already have those because the way this whole group kind of got put together is from sort of like these group sessions where everybody's like, "Hi, my name's so and so, and I saw a ghost," or whatever that the university kind of puts on. Yeah, and we can kind of delve more into the character of that later on, but yeah, you guys all kind of have known each other for a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's see where Maya goes with the mortician.
So if there's like a funeral home or if it's just the morgue?
It would be the morgue at the police station because of the way like it kind of went. It was down there for a minute, it seems.
Well, I'll ask the gents if they the detectives if they know this person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's say, you want to talk to the? Are you guys doing like a serious kind of investigation? You gonna look at a body or something?
The body's been dead for about 20 years, so we're just asking questions.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's basement.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you know anything about him? Them?
The
mortician. James Waits?
Oh, Jimmy? Yeah, I mean, he's fine. This guy. I mean,
how long has he worked here?
Does autopsies, but...
Wow.
10, 15 years.
Gotcha. And downstairs, you said?
Yeah, basement.
Thank you.
Save on air conditioning that way.
Good point. I will hand the files back.
Cool.
Actually, can I get a copy of that report?
Sure.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. They're like, Ryan, get off your ass. And he'll pass him the file, and then after a minute, they give you, some copies in a little folder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Into the manila folder they go.
Anything else?
No, I'll just go talk to Mr. Whites. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You as well.
Yeah. And they go back to dicking around. Yeah, and it's not too hard. There are pretty clear signs that are like morgue this way, that kind of stuff that lead you downstairs. And eventually you get into like the sort of like receiving room. You don't just get to go into the fridge. You gotta talk to the dude.
No.
And there's a guy, sort of middle-aged, bald. He's got some like half-rim glasses, wearing a lab coat, and he's he's doing something on his computer. He's like very involved in it, like looking at the monitor, clicking around.
Are you Mr. Waits?
Yeah. James Waits.
Hi. James Waits, yes. I'm Maya Green.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Have you been here before?
Yes, I think so. Once or twice. Research.
Okay. Research, sure. Yeah, what do you need?
I'm actually doing some research on a Mr. Benjamin Crowley.
Oh, Crowley, huh?
Yeah.
Give me
Are you
a smokes roll. Give me a smokes roll.
Let me give you a smokes roll.
So for those of you who don't know, there are two kinds of sort of investigation you do. There's flashlights rolls, which is gleaning information from your surroundings, and smokes rolls, which are, getting info from talking to people. This is a case where maybe he needs a little social lubricant to get talking. But yeah, with that, he sort of says, "Yeah, Crowley. Is there what about him?"
Well, I'm sort of researching some things that are going on in this house. I don't know if you've heard, but the lights, sounds, things like that happening.
Uh-huh.
But in researching the house, I came across some stuff like on his death certificate, which is very interesting to me, and I was hoping that you could talk to me about it.
Yeah.
His death
He just
information
kind of
was
is like,
changed.
he's just kind of looking at you, kind of like this, like, yeah,
His death information was changed by you?
changed by me.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you sure? And I pull out the copy.
Yeah, I signed it.
Do you know why you changed it?
I did change it. We just needed to redo that stuff. Coffee spill. It happens.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You look nervous.
Yeah.
Why?
Social anxiety.
Oh,
I work in a
get that.
morgue. I don't talk to a lot of people.
That makes
It's
sense.
by design.
Do you know how he actually died?
Natural causes, according to that piece of paper you just brought me.
Right, but do you keep any other records on people's deaths here?
I don't.
Did the previous mortician?
Before my time. I don't. I couldn't tell you. Take that up with him.
Even is he lying, obfuscating, covering or something?
I think give me a wisdom save.
Okay. This is the other thing.
This is the other thing, right? So we have saves, and they're done by the general D&D attributes. You save versus things that are trying to mess you up, and in this case, deception falls under wisdom.
Sorry.
No,
Or
you
just
click
click
click whiz.
I passed.
You passed, and you're trying to roll under those saves, so that's kind of fun. It's a bit old school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you pass. He's not like lying. He just doesn't really want to. But he's definitely nervous. Like he doesn't want to talk about this in particular. Like he tries to play it off like that's just how he always is. But like this is, you can tell this is kind of not a topic he wants to talk about.
I think I need to read something really quick. Sorry. I think, Ethan, that I want to use my deduction ability.
Okay. What does that do? Read it out for everybody.
I think this will work. Once per game session, you can apply your powers of deduction and reasoning to reach an apposite conclusion. APPOSIT.
Relevant.
Okay. And require the GM to provide a hint to the next best step.
Yeah. You could totally use that. So you kind of look at how he's acting and like thinking about some of the stuff he said. Like he put some stress on some weird words when he was talking and kind of stuff like that. And you get the sense that maybe you need to go talk to this other mortician.
Okay.
That if there is any changes that occurred, it was done by that other guy. And that Mr. Waits only had to sort of sign off on those. That he didn't do any changes, doesn't really know a whole lot about the situation personally, just knows that it was a bit funny and he had to sign some papers, which he wasn't super comfortable with.
Okay. Do you know where I can find Mr. I wrote it down. Mr. Walsh?
Yeah, I don't know if he's retired. I don't know if I'm supposed to give you.
I mean, you can either tell me or I can look it up on Google. You could save me a step.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Thank you.
And I want to look at my map and use some of my map stuff. He lives in, I think, he lives in the Terrace building, which is not too far away.
Okay.
Yeah, because you guys are in that downtown sort of area near the like courthouse and stuff like that. So you know that's about a block over. It's a high rise, not a high rise. It's like 4 stories, but it's a big apartment building. The Terrace building.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, he lives in the Terrace building. They have a directory. Is that enough? Do you need?
Yep, that's completely
cool.
Fine.
He's just
mean, violent.
This job isn't for everybody.
Right.
And he did it for a long time.
Okay.
Sure. We'll go with eccentric. Okay. Yep. That'll work.
Is he going to hurt me?
No, he's harmless.
Okay.
Yeah, he's harmless.
You seem really confident in that answer, Mr. Waits.
I'm not confident in anything, if I'm honest with you. Except for autopsies, pretty confident in those.
Well, given all the strange things that go on, given all the strange things that go on in Arkham, I'm sure we'll make acquaintances again.
Oh
yeah. Have a good day.
Mm-hmm. And you can see him just start typing furiously at his computer.
I can't wait to just bother this guy a whole bunch.
Yeah. Can't wait to have to remember all of these characters I'm just making up on the spot.
I got you.
It's your job.
I got you.
Your job now. Congratulations.
You say now like you did it in mine.
Yeah. Okay, so it's about 9:30. Going for about an hour and a half. You guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah, that'd be good.
We jump off about 10.
Sure.
Well, build up the suspense some more. We don't want to just let them at the house all willy nilly. You're good.
You're good.
But yeah, let's take a little break. So I don't have the power to do any sort of giveaways or anything. So just I don't know, go do some stretches, grab a
Hydrate.
snack. Yeah, get some water. Have you taken your dog out recently?
Stretched your
These
muscles.
are all good questions. Yes. So do something for the 5 to 10 minutes that we'll be gone, and we'll be back at 9:30 to 9:40. I won't promise anything other than that. All right. Bye, everybody. back, everybody. We're back. It's us. We're here. We all had a break. Hope you all had a lovely break. Just a good time. Let me turn this music back on, because I don't talk loud enough to have music on behind me. Yeah. So, before the break, we had some mortician conversations happening. Or whatever. I don't even know if that's the right title. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I don't know anything about how police work works in real life, but we're gonna jump over. Yeah, the medical examiner, whatever. Yep. We're gonna jump over to Landon and Lloyd, who are pulling up now in front of the old Crowley house. It is on. Let me double check my map here that I have that none of you can see. Yeah, it's over on the north side of town. It's right next to, well, it's about 2 houses down from the synagogue, the nearby synagogue. That itself is built into an old mansion. This is all kind of like old manor houses and stuff like that. And as you pull up, you can see the big like stone fence with like the wrought iron kind of like spikes on the top. Seems to go kind of all the way around the property, and there's a big wrought iron gate that has a big padlock on it. And there's like the little notice on the front that's like foreclosed or whatever, property of the city, that kind of thing. And it's probably about noonish, maybe like 1 by now. It's been a while. You guys have been looking through a lot of paperwork. But yeah, you guys pull out front. It is a not super busy street, so you can kind of just park on the curb in front of the house. But yeah, what do you guys do? Okay, what are you looking for? Okay, cool. Give me a flashlights roll, because that's kind of, you can suss it out. What's going on? Okay, a 4. Yeah, you're good then. You didn't roll a 1 or a 2, so you're all good. So yeah, you give it a perimeter, kind of make a little perimeter, and you notice that sort of in the back side, there is this sort of like pond, and they don't really have fencing around that. It's one of those things where they were like, "Who's gonna swim?" You know, like, not our problem. We're not going to build a fence through water. So you can see that the fence kind of rounds out around the banks of that pond, go a little further down. But if you swam it, you could get in. And you can see there where there's like a little pier and like an old rowboat that's kind of upside down on the shore. You could walk around and make it to the other side of the fence, but they do have that part fenced off. They're like, nobody's just going to walk in here. If they want to get in here, they're going to have to swim. At least this way. If you're not coming in the front, you're swimming or taking a boat or something. Oh goodness. Hold on, y'all. I forgot to unmute the chat audio. That's my bad. Now people can hear you.
Ah, gotcha.
That's awkward. Oops. Oh well. We're good now. So we're at the house. You're checking out to see if there's a way in, trying to rule out some hoodlums.
And the option is swim or bust a lock.
Swim or bust a lock. Yes, thank you very much, Frizzy Gizmo, for the for the call out there, because I would not have noted. Because I can hear Casey perfectly. Yeah, so that's what you've seen so far, and kind of looking around the other side of the fence and stuff like that, you don't really see any like obvious big holes in the fence or anything. There is always the option to go over if you take some thick blankets and throw it over the spikes, that kind of thing. But yeah, those are kind of your options as far as you can tell.
Did we ever get the name of the neighbor?
There was no really like mention of who. Like, there was the 911 call, right?
Yeah.
But it was made anonymously.
The synagogue was mentioned.
The synagogue is a couple houses down, yeah.
Lloyd, what do you think? You want to go in the house now? Or you want to ask around, talk to the neighbors, see?
So before you came back from your perimeter check, it's gonna sound weird, but like as he turns the corner, is like kind of far away from me. Lloyd is gonna really stare at the house to see if like there's any kind of anything weird, just like really intently at the house.
Okay. Give me a sanity roll.
So I thought,
That's another resource in the game. You got smokes, you got flashlights, sanity.
that's not good.
Okay, yeah. So that's a 1, so that steps down to a D8. Yeah.
The best one, that sucks.
Such is the game. You can get those back later. But yeah, as you sort of stare at this house, you really just kind of fix on it for a sec, and you try. In your past, you've been able to see things, or you've seen stuff that other people don't, and so you're trying to do that here. And you can see that sort of sitting like kind of on top of the house, but just not quite set right. You can see a pristine house. And you can see that there is kind of this pulsing coming from the ground. And it sounds almost like a heartbeat in your ears, and it gets louder and louder until that's all you can hear. And you find yourself trying to stop seeing these things, which is kind of the result of the 1 there. Is you have to really sit there and force yourself to not see those things. And I think maybe it shakes you up a little bit. So give me because there's always some kind of consequence when it comes to failing a sanity roll. Give me a D6 roll.
I have 2 abilities where I get to roll at advantage with a bunch of different things. For
This
Iron
is
Mind and Indomitable, or is it just because I failed?
What do those do?
Resisting magic, occult, ritual, hexes, curses, or possession by alien influences, or deception, mind control, or attempts to cloud perception.
This is neither of those things. This is So when you fail a sanity roll, there's 2 sorts of tables that you can roll on. There's the shock table, and there is the temporary insanity table. We're gonna go with the shock table because it's a minor thing. So just give me a D6.
6.
A 6. So Lloyd, you let out a scream. This has startled. Something about this has kind of gotten to you, and so you let out a sort of this piercing scream that kind of echoes off the hills nearby and off the buildings. Landon, you hear this as you're sort of around, sort of looking like, do I want to go swimming today? Do I not want to go swimming today? Kind of thing.
Right.
And you hear that come from the front of the building.
I take off like a shot.
Yeah. And you're not the only one, because after a while, as you're kind of rounding the corner, you see that there is an older gentleman who is kind of looking out of his front door in the next door house, which is probably about a half a football field away. It's a good distance. You see an older gentleman who's kind of looking out, and then you can see him start. He has a cane, and he's kind of starting to make his way over toward your truck, and kind of where Lloyd's standing.
And I kind of see Lloyd kind of now like crouching very low to the ground with like his palms and like the heels of his palms in front of his eyes and the back of his fingers covering his ears.
Yeah. Cool. And so after a moment, I think the older gentleman probably gets there a little bit after you do, Landon, if you have something you want to do before he gets there.
But like, I'll put my hand on Lloyd's shoulder. Like, you good, partner?
What am I trying to stop again? Like the pulsating, or what do I need to stop?
Yeah, you can still hear like your vision's kind of getting blurry each time you hear this like pulsing like heartbeat. And it's so loud to the point that it's almost affecting your vision. Like things are just kind of blurry right now.
Mm.
But it is slowly subsiding. It's just going to take some time.
And then so kind of in a loud and aggressive way, he kind of be like, stand back, just don't touch me, get away, just get away.
Alright, easy, buddy. Why don't you go sit on the tailgate of my truck? Relax. Just checking in on you. Let out a mighty scream. And he just backs away.
Yeah, and about that time, this older gentleman, he has a sort of tan, like dark tan skin, and he's wearing like some real old people clothes. Like the pants are pulled up to like the actual waist. Like this guy hasn't bought new clothes in 30 years, maybe. And he
Old
kind
man
of
style.
probably more than 30 years, because 30 years is like the 90s and that fashion was different. But it's old man clothes. He kind of
I love that idea.
he kind of shuffles up and he says, "Excuse me, is there some sort of problem here?"
Do I know that he's talking to me?
He's kind of talking to both of you, just sort of gesturing with his cane. He doesn't seem like angry. He doesn't seem like he seems calm. He's just kind of trying to see what's up. Is there some kind of issue? Do y'all need help?
I'm fine, sir. It's migraines, bad migraines.
Migraines. Okay. That's them? It's like headaches, right?
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. And you, sir, are you with this man?
Yeah. My name is Landon Cartwright, sir.
Landon
How do you
Cartwright.
do?
Name's Graves, Jeremiah Graves.
Jeremiah Graham. Well, Mr. Gramus, we're with the university. And
Oh, Miss Catonic?
yes.
Okay.
And do you know anything about Mr. Crawley? I think is
Crowley.
his name. Yes.
He's been dead 20 years.
Right. Well, we're getting reports, or the school is anyway, and they've asked us to investigate that there's like people saying that the house looks new at night, that does noises, stuff like that going on.
Yeah, I don't know about the looking new at night necessarily, but I have heard some sounds, and they're not unfamiliar sounds.
Can you elaborate for me, sir?
Yeah, give me a smokes roll.
Okay.
Because he kind of clams up a bit.
Ooh, getting closer.
3. It's all good. He says, yes, well, to be honest, it's very similar to the night that Mr. Crowley passed. Very strange sounds coming from his home, and the sounds I'm hearing now are quite similar, I'd say. But there's nobody in there, I don't think. So,
Have you ever heard any splashing water or anything like that? Like maybe somebody might be trying to swim in his pond to get across?
No, nothing like that. No. It's mostly someone keeps. It can't be windows. It's got to be something inside. But someone keeps breaking glass. I hear it almost every night now. I'm kind of. I don't know who's got all that money for dishware, but it sounds like they're really having a high time in there. Whoever it is.
Were you friends with Mr. Crowley, sir?
Well, I don't know that Mr. Crowley had friends. He'd spent a lot of time up at White Manor back in the day, but not since the late 80s, I guess.
There seems to be something going on around here about that. You're like the third or fourth person to bring up a situation that happened back then. You want to elaborate on that?
It's the most recent of the sort of scandalous events of Arkham's history. It goes all the way back to the 15th century or so, and witch trials and things like that. This town attracts stories. And that one on those students going missing, that's just the most recent that's caught public attention.
Was to get back to sorry, Ethan, what was his name?
Crowley.
Crowley.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Crowley, did he ever have a lot of family or visitors come in and out, or was he pretty much a homebody?
I
don't going
don't
up to White Manor.
I don't really fancy myself a busybody or anything like that to keep eye on my neighbors like that, but the house seemed pretty quiet on Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas, so don't reckon he had too much in the way of family. He'd go every now and again. Maybe some fancy folks would show up, probably some of the whites or some of those folks that hung around them, but that's about it as far as I could tell. I don't colleagues
No
more than
wife
friends,
or
maybe.
anything? Colleague?
No, never married. He was a bachelor, as far as I could
Not
tell.
even. Well, Mr. Jebediah, I appreciate you. You seem to be a wealth of information. Is there any other neighbors you think that might be willing to talk to us, or?
Oh, I mean, we're a friendly bunch. That old rabbi down at the synagogue might know something. He likes to keep informed. He comes in and checks on us all every now and again. Friendly fella. I mean, any house along the road probably knows something about it, but Mr. Crowley, he was a lot of rumors about that fella. Tried to keep my distance.
What kind of rumors have you heard?
Same rumors that circulated about anyone that hung out with the White family. Cult business, Satanism, maybe. We don't. Not my business, not my trade. I don't
Understood.
deal in things like that. But he was one of those, I guess. Hung out around them and fancied himself some kind of academic, I suppose. Pretty impressive library from the couple times I spent an afternoon over there.
Did you get any weird feelings when you went into the house?
Not particularly. It was just two old sons of bitches sharing a glass of whiskey or two. Nothing that interested.
Understood. Well, I thank you, sir.
Yeah,
thank you for checking on my friend.
Yeah, maybe he didn't seem like he's feeling all right. Maybe get him something to drink or something.
Yeah. How are the pulsating? Like how would Is it gone significantly less, or is it still pretty high?
It's sort of in the background, but it has not
Okay.
gone away.
Okay. So yeah. So then Lloyd would stand up and still kind of like palms to forehead and say, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you look it. Maybe take him to a pharmacy or I don't know. Get maybe y'all need to just have a sit or something somewhere. There's a couple restaurants downtown. Hey, you look pale, my friend. Not this session, Rich. Will not be TPKing this session. Next session. Last session. You missed it. You missed it. But yeah, he's kind of just given that sort of I'm old and I know how this works. So he's kind of like there's this
Right.
restaurant, there's a diner that makes a mean chopped steak. That might help. And he seems to he's kind of got this sort of vague look on his face after a while. Like he's still talking, but maybe he's not as clear on who he's talking to in this moment.
Sir,
Yeah, what is it?
you seem like you were getting lost in.
Oh, I was rambling again. Yeah, but see about your friend. I'm gonna go have. I'm a little tired. I'm I'm old, as you can plainly see. Um,
Do you need any help, sir?
I got this, Kane. That's as much help as I need. And he'll kind of turn around and start shuffling back to his home.
He tips his head like, "You have a good day, sir."
And you. And yeah, he makes his way back into his home.
Lloyd, you feel like going to the synagogue?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Or do you want to get something to drink? He ain't lying. You look rough.
We can go. Let's go to the let's let's go to the synagogue.
Okay. And I guess we'll hop in my truck and take off towards the synagogue.
Well, it is. Probably don't even need to get in your truck if you don't want to. It's two. You can see it. There's like two houses in between, and then it's the synagogue. Like it's right down the street.
Yeah. Oh well, then yeah, we'll walk down.
Yeah.
Walk down there.
And you walk, and you can see the two houses are pretty nondescript. It's all these houses kind of look very similar with some slight variation. Like one of them has maybe like a sunroom, like one of those like enclosed porches or whatever.
We see anybody watching us as we walk down the street?
No, they seem pretty. Doesn't seem like anybody's home, and there's no like cars in the driveway or anything. People probably out working. It's about, it's around lunchtime still.
Gotcha.
But yeah, after not too long, you get to a larger house. Significantly larger than the other ones on the block, and there's a sign out front that says Congregation Bet V'Shalom. And it is the name of this sort of synagogue that's here. And yeah, I mean it looks open. It doesn't look like it's particularly closed or anything. The doors are actually open. It's fall, so the weather's nice.
Okay. I would start walking. I would take my hat off first. The house of worship, and walk up to the door.
Yeah. Cool. So I mean, you walk in, and you can see it's got like this isn't a church building. From what you can tell, this actually looks like it was an old mansion. Like it's more like a residential home. But you can see that there are kind of signs that mark like where you should go. And if you sort of continue on to the main dining hall, you can see that has been turned into like the congregation area. And as I don't know too much about how synagogues work, we'll just say that the rabbi is sort of within, in the appropriate garb of a rabbi. Again, I don't know, so I'm not going to presume, but he is dressed appropriately as a rabbi would be dressed. And
this is orthodox, unorthodox. Right.
I mean, it's Arkham, so it's unorthodox, for sure.
So
And
I
this
got it in my head.
particular
I got it in my head.
this particular Jewish community has a very interesting history, but we don't have time to get into all that right now. But yeah, the rabbi is in there, and I'm gonna see if I can find his name because he is named in the book really quick. Let's see. It's here. One sec. I want to make sure because this is a canon thing. I don't want to mess that up. It's also one of the first things in the whole book. Who is the guy? Oh, yeah, his name is Benjamin Sagan. Sagan for the last name. And that would have been on the sign outside. That is the Rabbi Benjamin Sagan. And as you all sort of walk in, you hear him say, "Good afternoon. Can I help you all?"
How do you do, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Landon Cartwright.
Landon Cartwright. I'm Benjamin Sagan. I'm the rabbi here. And you, sir? Are you okay? Do you need water?
Okay. Lloyd is my name.
Lloyd. Nice to meet you both. Can I help you all with anything?
We have a couple questions about the Crawley house.
Oh, I thought you were okay. Yeah, the Crowley house. Sure. What do you want to know? I mean, we've been down the street for some time.
Have you noticed any weird activity or, anything off about the place? Sound, breaking glass.
I hear about the last week or so. We've seen some activity at the house. It's a bit unusual. Haven't heard anything there in a long time.
When you mean seen, do you see people walking around?
I mean,
kids?
we see lights. We see lights in the house. Shadows across the windows. Sure, like people are moving around. I would chalk it up to maybe some teens. Maybe smoking some.
Did you hear anything
drugs, reefer?
weird?
Any weird what?
Any? Did you hear anything weird?
Not that I wouldn't expect. And you hear kind of as he's talking, you can hear like a loud crash come from upstairs. And he doesn't seem to react. He's like,
What
yeah,
was
nothing
that?
out of the ordinary. Oh, it's the building. It's old.
Does that happen often?
Yeah, pretty often.
Do you mind if we go take a look?
Be my guest. I filed a report with the university. They said they were going to come look into it. I haven't had anybody come by yet.
Well, I'll go take a look.
Okay. Yeah, feel free. Anywhere you need it. So it's we added that wing over there, the west wing. So that's all new. Most of the sounds you're gonna hear are gonna be in the east wing, or in the main house itself. But yeah, plenty of sounds, plenty of things going bump in the night. So whatever you find, let me know.
Okay, and then Lloyd is probably gonna very kind of cautiously, and still maybe a hand on his head, kind of go look up at it.
Okay. Yeah. So give me a flashlights roll to just kind of look around the home, the house, the building. What do we got?
A 7?
A 7. Okay, cool. Yeah, you look around and you can see that it looks like a small end table got pushed over
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of fell over. And as you kind of stand it up, you can see it's pretty wobbly. Nothing broken necessarily. But you also kind of hear, as you're up here, you can hear the sounds of like kind of some laughter coming from down the hall. Which will keep the same roll for that. As you go kind of like walking down the hall, you can't really find, there's nothing really to find. You can see a couple more signs of like stuff falling over. There's a lot of rooms that aren't being used because this is just like a place of worship. It doesn't need the like, 8-10 bedrooms that the house had before. But yeah, you hear sounds, but they're never in the same kind of hallway you're in.
Are there any kind of rooms that go off from the hallway? Or is it just kind of a hallway?
So the way it's set up is you have like a main hallway that goes through each wing on like each floor, and then there are kind of like rooms on either side. And you give those a pretty thorough sweep and can't really come up with anything tangible. Like nothing ever happens while you're in the room or anything like that.
So it looks kind of wobbly, but could there be any source that have pushed it over, like a wind source or anything like that?
It
Like an
doesn't
open
look like it.
window or something?
It doesn't
Okay.
seem like it.
And then Lloyd would probably just, kind of low whisper so that he made sure that no one else, like the rabbi or uh, Landon, her, just been like, hello, hello. And just kind of say that.
Yeah, unless you want to make like a sanity roll, I don't know that you would just hear anything. But if you're willing to
Speaking
kind
of
of
sanity, is anything going on with my thing, or is it still kind of the background?
as you guys kind of walked away from the Crowley house, that sound kind of diminished, and by the time you got here, it's pretty much all the way gone. Like you have
Okay.
to strain to hear like even a little bit of it.
Okay. I'll roll another sanity.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. A 7. Cool. Yeah, you kind of strain again, like kind of strain your. It's kind of almost like a weird muscle in your brain that you can kind of feel, and you kind of feel that pressure on it as you're kind of trying to look, like see something, and you can see kind of this wispiness in the air that is just kind of all around. But that's really all you're getting, and you're not really seeing any shapes or any people or anything like that.
Are these wisps concentrated anywhere?
No, it's kind of almost like a fog that's just kind of hanging in the building. That's kind of all you get, and you don't feel any like badness necessarily.
Okay.
If anything, you get kind of the vague sensation of festivity, which is weird, but just kind of like some mirth, maybe like merriment.
Okay.
You get kind of like the impression of that, but that's about it.
Okay, so he's probably going to pick the table back up, kind of slowly walk away, like taking glances every once in a while, like keeping my eyes on the wisps or fog or whatever, and then kind of join the group again.
And so the rabbi, Rabbi Sagan, he'll look at you and say, "So did you find anything?"
Yeah, it just seemed like a table fell over, a little wobbly.
Oh, okay. Well, is that it?
Seemed like it.
Okay. And he looks kind of disappointed when you say that. He's like, okay, whatever. Look, I trust you. I do. But if you all have some time to maybe come back and spend some more time with us, maybe come during a service. 'Cause these things happen a lot during service. Maybe come back and take another look. Not that I don't trust you, but some of the stuff that happens is a bit weirder than a wobbly table, if you catch my drift.
Yes. Actually, Rabbi, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
What was this before it was a synagogue?
Oh, this was a mansion. It belonged to, what's it called? I think it's Apley Mansion. Apley was the surname. Been abandoned, or at least it was for a long time. We found our home here some time ago. I'm not even the first rabbi that's been here, but we bounced around it. You know how these things are. Not always the most welcoming, communities anywhere. But we found a home here, and this is where our community is now.
How long have you been a community here?
Oh, since the 80s or so, probably. It's been a long time. There's been a few rabbis. I'm probably the second or third.
Have you or any of your kin had any run-ins with Mr. Crowley
Oh,
or the Whites?
oh, the whites. Well, we didn't really. That's on the other side of town. But I mean, Mr. Crowley, he lived down the street. Um, he was a nice enough neighbor, I guess. He never came to service, but he's not Jewish, so that makes sense. Um, but he kind of kept to himself. We brought him some lunches every now and again, just as a nice thing. He was kind of up there even back in the 80s. So
Did you get any weird feelings or any off-putting feelings when you went to the house, sir? Or your people gone to the house?
um, I mean, I'm not like a spirit. I don't know if you think. I mean, I'm a rabbi, but I'm not like a exorcist or anything. If that's kind of the direction you're going there, but
Just any weird feeling.
I mean, he was nice enough. He was
off-puttingness.
he was a bit strange. He was standoffish, sure. Maybe a bit off-putting and not the friendliest, but he took the food,
Never,
so at least
never
he
caused
eats.
you any trouble.
No, I mean there was. I mean, I'm sure anybody in the neighborhood would know about when he passed. There was a bit of a ruckus at his house, but um, no, nothing terribly out of the ordinary.
Stuff.
Figured maybe he just fell, knocked something over. Some people have a lot more things to say about Mr. Crowley, but I think he was fine. He's fine.
What other people would you say would have things to say?
Oh, well, I mean, we know there's Mr. Graves lives right next door. Um, he might have something to tell you all if you haven't talked to him yet.
Is that Jebediah?
Yeah, Jeremiah. Is that what you mean?
Jeremiah? Yeah,
Jeremiah. Yeah,
Jeremiah, my fault.
Jeremiah Graves. Yeah, that gentleman.
I don't know why I went to. I don't know why I went to Jebediah for some reason.
It's just they're on the same family of names, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, eh, that's anyone in the neighborhood would probably have the same things to say, honestly. Kept to himself, maybe into some weird stuff. Hung out with the whites every now and again, since you mentioned them. When they were still holding social gatherings, I think they've moved on now. Haven't seen them around in a while, but
So there's no whites in town anymore.
not the way they were, right? They're not really big social what is the word for it?
Butterflies.
Sure, something they're not the dilettantes, the
Oh, socialites.
socialites. That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, they don't do stuff like that anymore. I mean, I think maybe one of the cousins or something goes to the college, but that's maybe about it.
Well, Rabbi, you've been very helpful, and I
Yeah.
will definitely tell my other colleague, and we'll come back.
Great,
help you
great.
out.
That'd be lovely.
How long have these things been happening to you, sir?
Since we've been here. It's harmless mostly. I mean, the worst thing that's ever happened is a member of our congregation. They found their car a bit down the street, but only about a block or so down, and it was just there empty. So
It sounds like you might have some mischief going on.
yeah, could be kids, but something about it. I think we would have found one of them by now. This has been going on for decades.
Gotcha.
I mean, they'd be adults by now. What is it? Is it some kind of club? Some kind of rite of passage? They're coming through here and driving people's cars out the parking lot and knocking stuff over upstairs. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But there's plenty in the congregation that would, think like you are, that it's just some hooligans or something. But
we'll definitely put it at the top of our list, sir.
Okay. You need water or anything before you go? Food?
I would love to have some water.
Okay.
Food? What kind of food do we?
Wait, what day of the week is it?
Friday.
Not Saturday.
Not Saturday. Yeah, no. Yeah, we don't have it. Sorry, we might have some cookies. Maybe.
I would love some cookies.
Yeah, and you go in there. It's just like it's stale. It's been there since the last week. It's not fresh stuff. And he's like, hey, if you want it, I mean, it's gonna go to waste if you don't have it. So.
Thank you, Father. Rabbi.
Sure, whatever. I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff. But yeah, have a nice evening. And hey, when you come back, maybe try to come back, during a service. I think that'd be the best thing.
Absolutely, sir.
If you all are going to come back, I don't want you to come out here a bunch of times and waste your time. Then you get frustrated with me. I maybe get frustrated that you're not finding anything. I want to avoid that. So maybe just come back during a service.
When's your service?
I want to say Saturday is the day for that. Yeah.
Or Friday evening.
Friday evening. Yeah. Something like that. I'll look that up. I'll have that when it's relevant to the mystery that you all are pursuing.
Jacobs.
Look, I'm not. Just runs into the synagogue. Oh man. Yeah, so is there anything else you guys would like to do?
I'm assuming we're driving off. Is that a correct assumption?
Well, your truck is back down at Crowley's house, so.
Sure, but I'm assuming we're driving away after that.
Yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to do.
I would actually text Maya and be like, kind of give a little info dump about the Whites, how Mr. Crowley seemed to be a loner, but these are his social circles, and then tell her about the synagogue and how that maybe shortly, just a quick little text.
Maya in her car is like, why didn't I go to the house?
Lloyd, does Lloyd notice anything as he gets closer to the house?
The sound gets louder again. The sound gets louder again, but it never gets to the point where it's painful anymore. It's kind of like you've gotten used to it. But you can hear it. It's a steady kind of heartbeat kind of thing.
Okay, and then so as we get closer, maybe even into the car, we definitely need to talk with Maya.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll start my truck up and be like, you sure you don't want anything to eat? I got an extra cookie.
I'm good. And he'll take the water bottle from his jacket.
On you.
Yeah, and as you guys kind of drive off to somewhere, we'll pick up with Maya, who is at the terrace building, which isn't too far from where you guys are. All this stuff is fairly close. It's like Arkham's not a huge city by any means.
Since I'm imagining that these are happening concurrently,
Yeah.
when Maya's done with her thing and gets those texts, she would suggest that they meet at a restaurant or a diner nearby.
Okay. Yeah, and so the place that you would probably recommend, if I had to just look around here, well, there's Little Napoleon's Pizzeria. That's right around the block from the Terrace Building. There's a Dippin' Donuts.
How about the pizzeria, the Neapolitan?
Yeah, Little Napoleon's Pizza is the
That's
one.
what you said.
It's like a
Yeah.
and that's actually around the block from the Terrace Building and about 2 blocks from the synagogue. So this would be
Okay.
more helpful if I could show you guys the map. We're working on it. Working on it. We'll get that map out there eventually. But yeah. But yeah. So, but you pull up in front of the Terrace Building, and looking on the directory, you can see that there is a Walsh, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Liam Walsh.
Yeah, there is a Walsh that's in, I don't know, 4C. Right,
Ring the
little buzzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ring the buzzer and you hear there's like a pause for a while, and you hear like the sound of like something picking up, and he's like, "Who is it?"
Hi, this is Maya Green. I was looking for Liam Walsh.
Speaking.
I'm doing some research for a story. I'm an author, and I had some questions for you if you had some time.
What about? What's your story about?
Crawley Manor.
Make a smokes roll.
Five.
He says, 5 minutes. And you
Okay.
hear the like sound as like the door is unlocked.
I do not waste time.
Yep. And you make your way up, and as you knock on the door, you can see an elderly gentleman. He's got like this kind of really haggard, kind of gray beard. He's balding on top. He's got like these very small glasses that kind of sit on his nose. And he kind of looks and he's like, Miss Green?
Yes, Mr.
Come
Walsh.
in. Yeah, come
Thank
in.
you,
Doctor, well, in another life.
Dr. Walsh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is what it is now. Can I help you with something? You said Crowley?
Crowley Manor and Mr. Benjamin Crowley. I'm looking into his death.
Yeah. Well, all that stuff is all those records and things. Those are available at the police
I already have
station.
those. Thank you. But I've run into sort of a dead end, and your name is at the end of it.
Dead end. I did autopsies. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I try.
Then he picks up, like a can of beer off the table. And
I'm kind of just
sipping.
scanning also like what this man's house looks like.
Yeah.
Or apartment.
It is like almost like sterile. It's very clean. Everything is like put away and filed away very nicely. Even the books. Like the books are in that kind of like one of them is sat like this and the other one's like turned a little bit and they make this nice looking stack on the table. They're like coffee table readers. Like it's very well put together. And he sort of points to an armchair that's across from a couch and he sits down on the couch. He says, "Can I get you anything? Coffee, tea?"
I'm good. Thank
water?
you though.
Okay. Beer?
Not this early in the day, but thank you.
I forget. I'm retired.
Of course.
And he kind of leans back and he says, "So, what is this about Crowley?" It's been
Yes,
it's old memories.
Yes, 20-something years or so. But in doing some research, I found on his death certificate that it had been changed. About 5 years after his death?
Changed. I don't know about changed. It was redone. We had to rewrite that
Why?
up. Coffee spill.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
It
not.
happens. It happens. You have to refill them out. You got to sign them again.
And when I was at the police precinct looking at documents, it looked like those had been changed out within the last little while as well. That didn't correspond with 20 years.
I don't know anything about that. I only filled out the autopsy reports.
And what was the autopsy? What did you find?
Oh, nothing. Honestly, nothing interesting. Natural
Everyone,
causes.
people that I've spoken to have suggested that there was something else afoot at the Crowley Manor. Anything that you'd be aware of?
Not
I
ringing a
smokes this guy.
bell. Yeah, you can. First of all, I think make a wisdom save
Okay.
to kind of. Is he feeding
I'm
you a line
put-
of bullshit right now?
Yeah. I mean, what I'm reading from Ethan is he's feeding me a lot of bullshit.
Some people are just like that.
I
you know?
failed.
You failed. There's something off, but you're not really sure if he's just not interested in talking or if it's that he just doesn't want to tell you something.
Mhm.
He's kind of like, I mean, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, they're saying that a lot of things are happening at the Crowley house, like some incidents,
kind
like noises, lights.
kids? Is it kids?
I don't think so. I'm just thinking maybe it has something to do with his death so long ago.
Yeah.
Like I said, dead end has led me here to you.
um, you're writing a story. What are you writing a story about?
I write parapsychological thrillers. A house like this, with this weird things that seem to be going on, makes for a good story. But you need to get all the research, why this man died, what happened. You know, you have to suspense. You have to be able to build that.
Yeah. You gonna put my name in this thing?
Do you want me to?
That depends. Do you want the truth, or do you want something interesting?
I really was hoping that the truth would be interesting.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
Tell me.
Look, he's an old guy, right? He's old. He, maybe fell, bumped his noggin or something, but it all comes down to natural causes when they're that old.
Right.
You know how it is. I mean, maybe you don't, but in my field, after a certain age, it doesn't.
Right.
Take your pick. He's diabetic. High blood pressure, blood clots out the wazoo. It's you just pick one. It's it's
What
really
would
not
the
as interesting.
interesting story have been, Mr. Walsh?
Oh, that. Give me a smoke roll.
Did I get it? I got it.
He says, "Look. Okay, I'll give you a story, okay? But don't pin it on me. I still have some professional integrity to maintain. So don't
Understood.
say it was weights, if anybody told you anything. Yeah. Say it was interesting. How interesting do you want? Do you need to be believable or
Nah, the less believable the better.
Oh,
What happened?
okay. Here's what happened. I'll give you something. So, could have been a mob hit. Who knows? So you go in, you go into the study.
Psychological.
Okay, I hear you. I'm getting there. Okay, I'm getting there. Look, you go in. Okay, I'm gonna paint a scene for you. You got the study, books, tables, plush chairs, the whole thing. Okay, you go in. Just pieces, just pieces, right? Barely even a corpse, right? It's pieces. You got to put it back together again. That's the hard part about the job. So sometimes you have to put things back together. But you got pieces, and maybe once you get them back in the lab, you're putting them together, and some of them are missing, right? Maybe it's not all there, and you think to yourself, how does that happen? What is the thing here? And then you run talk screens and you run these sort of things, and you find a lot of stuff that just doesn't quite make sense. Is that good? Is that the kind of stuff your readers want?
Yep. Feed me more like that. Feed me more like that.
Yeah, you find a lot of stuff that doesn't quite make sense, and maybe you find that some of the parts are a bit dissolved, and that they're continuing to dissolve, and you have less to look at each day. And yeah, something like that. And then he takes a long drink from his glass.
That sounds like a hell of a
Or his
thing.
can.
Readers will certainly enjoy learning more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get you something to drink? Some water?
I'm fine with this, I think.
I'm sorry to have taken up so much of your time, Mr. Walsh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look. You're probably going to need some documentation, right? Do you do stuff like that? Like handouts in the back of the book or whatever?
I can, yes.
Resources? Is that something you do?
Yeah.
Here.
Whatever
I got
helps
something.
the mystery.
I got something for you then. It's fun sometimes to write out all the comings and goings
Gotta-
on. Yeah.
course.
Right. And he'll go to his filing cabinet. He pulls it open and he digs through for a bit. He says, "Yeah, I think this one is. I think this one would be really good to put in your book." And he goes over to a scanner on his desk. There's like a little office that's it's got one of those kind of like arched, like not a door, but there's like an archway that separates the rooms. And he goes and he takes a copy and he says, "Here, put that one in your book."
I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Send me a copy, why don't you?
I will. I kind of glance down at it. I don't examine it. I just glance to see what it is.
Yeah. It is it's an autopsy report, and a death certificate. The autopsy report mentions, I don't know what all the technical terms would be, but essentially, maybe like a strong acid. It suggests like a strong acid or something that has corroded the flesh in various pieces. And it mentions parts missing or unaccounted for. Like heart is unaccounted for, stomach, things of that nature. And the head.
Oh, well, that was important.
It tends to be.
All right. Thank you again. Walsh.
Yeah, no problem.
WALSH.
That's
Just getting it right for the Thank you for your time.
What do you need it right for?
Just for my own personal notes.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Walsh, is there someone that you're scared of? Finding this out?
No. There's not much that can scare me.
Understood.
I ran the morgue in Arkham.
I'm sure you have
Visit.
quite more stories to tell.
Plenty. A
Maybe
lot
our
of natural
paths will meet
causes. A lot of natural causes in this town.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you spin a good story, sir. I look forward to hearing the next one. And she'll see herself out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's when the text will be coming in, and
Yeah.
she'll text back to meet at the Italian place, Napoleon's.
Little Napoleon's Pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Is it little or lil?
I believe it is little.
Lil.
Let me pull up the Legend Keeper page. So, just so you all know, this is a national chain. And there's also limited delivery service. There's a number on the door. But yeah, as you guys walk in, it's your typical. It is a pizzeria as one would find on the East Coast, at least in the Northeast, where they serve, New York style pizza, the really big pies, and it is run by individuals of Middle Eastern descent, and they also serve things like buffalo wings, shawarma, cannolis. There's a lot of stuff that they serve here that is not just pizza, but it is labeled as Little Napoleon's Pizza. And there are tables. There's a couple small tables, and there's like a bar by the window that has 3 or 4 seats that you all can kind of sit at. It's not super busy. It's the middle of the day. But you all meet up again.
I think we both info dump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You all
Okay.
share your information, right?
Right.
Everybody knows everything. We'll skip that part. We don't need that.
Lloyd would also bring up his experience, but like very slowly and cautiously, kind of not letting everything out necessarily.
Yeah. What parts would you leave out?
I would leave out how maybe it's similar to other things I've experienced.
Okay.
And but yeah, I'll definitely, what I will definitely say is that I got some pulsating sound that almost like made me blurry vision when I get closer to the house, and that there's this kind of like hologram around the house.
Okay. What was that? You cut off at the end.
Oh, I would just say that. I would just Landon would be like, so that's what that's about.
What was about? What?
So I went around the back to see if there was any other way to get in, and that's when I heard let out a shout, and I ended up running back around there. I saw him on the ground. He said it was a migraine at first, but we also ran into an older guy. Kind of gave us most of the info that I gave you earlier.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Lloyd. I hope it gets better.
I'm okay.
Okay. So you said there was a lock on the door, on the gate.
Yeah.
And the home's foreclosed, so the bank owns it or the city owns it. But we could get the key. If that's the course of action we want to take is examining the house.
Well, I'm kind of curious about these whites. They seem
Hmm.
to be the common thread with Mr. the Good
Well,
Man.
the whites are a common thread with anything that's crazy in this town.
Fair enough.
It doesn't.
I mean, I'm just finding out about this, so I don't know. It is.
Throw a stone at any paranormal thing in town, someone will say it's the whites.
And that doesn't make you curious?
Well, sure, it makes me curious, but you gotta solve the smaller mystery before you can solve the bigger one. It's a whole arc.
Well, maybe.
Come on.
Lloyd is
I mean-
probably eating quite ravenously.
Would you pick? Did you go for the burgers? Did you go for the gyros? Did you go for the
Pizza.
pizza?
Whatever they bought, he'd probably just start kind of slowly.
You can
eating.
get a slice of pizza for $1.
I don't
I
think
would've
we
bought a
have
whole
dollar.
pie.
I have zero wealth. Yeah.
I would have bought a pie. I would have
Okay.
bought a pie.
Yeah, $20, give or take. If you got the
Alright.
big ass pizza that's like 18, 20 inches,
Yeah.
like $20.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll split it. It's fine. Yeah, the whites are the villain of every story within town, almost. So you're gonna hear their name attached to almost anything anyone tells you, paranormal wise, I guess.
So I guess the only other thing is to do a stakeout, see if the house changes.
I say we go in it.
See?
See, you had she starts flipping open her notebook. She was taking notes while you were talking. She starts just flipping. We've seen several mentions of breaking glass, the lights. That this stuff is starting to happen again. So something weird is about to happen, obviously. So we need to get in there and see what's going on.
Shouldn't we? You're kind of right. But maybe we should do it in the day.
Why?
Well, there's a library in there. I don't know if I told you that. Apparently, the old man, he used to go in there and have whiskey every once in a while, and said it was a pretty impressive library. So. But before we go in to see what's bumping at night, shouldn't we kind of figure out what's going on? I mean, this stuff sounds pretty dangerous. And
How does it sound dangerous? An old man died.
old man
An
died.
old man died 20 years ago.
Yeah, but he was chopped up, acid burns, and somebody's hiding something. At least that's what it seems. I mean,
Right. And it's probably in the house.
right.
We can
Okay.
go in during the daytime and it will become night eventually.
I mean, just to do a little preliminary. I'm not saying that we don't go in at night. Maybe we should just, get the lay of the land while we can see.
Sure, but we're going to need to go get the keys first so we can get in. Unless you fancy
mean-
yourself breaking into it,
I mean,
which
are
I
you a good
don't.
swimmer?
I'm not going to swim through that disgusting pond you talked about. There's probably amoebas or something in there.
I mean, it's not like someone's gonna reach up and drag you down.
Do you know that?
Fair enough.
Why don't we finish up here? We can go back to the city clerk or the bank. See if we can pull some strings. And we can go check it out during the day.
We can come back at night. I just want to get a lay of the land before.
It's fine.
I think we should maximize our time there.
I agree with Lloyd. 100%. Here, have another slice of pizza.
Immediately inhales it.
It's another slice of pizza that's like the size of your head.
Yeah, and then
That's how-
just inhales it.
That's how they work.
I mean, I is probably eating half of a slice, so
All right, all right, all right. Yeah, he's like, just saying, there are things in this world that'll or to go bump, and I don't want to, you know.
That's why we should maximize our time there and not stay there longer.
And it's what the university has brought us here to do, is to find things that go bump in the night. So let's go find it.
Right. Okay. Well,
She'll close up her book, put her pen away. So,
What's the plan?
do you want me to go get?
go to City Hall. Yeah, go
keys?
get the key.
Okay.
Try to go get the keys.
Yeah. So you guys make your way back to City Hall. It's another couple blocks. Yeah. Everything's like within 2-3 blocks. Honestly, like downtown is at most 5 blocks wide. I think something like that. Like the main downtown part. So it's like everything's walkable in like 20 minutes. But you make it back. The same receptionist is there as before, and she's like, "Yeah, can I help you?"
We are interested in looking into a home that has been foreclosed upon, owned by the city.
Yeah. Well, is that a zoning thing? Is that a
Financial, maybe?
financial?
Was someone to rebuy the
Uh,
house, repossess the house?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me send you to. She kind of types on her computer a bit. Yeah, I think Greg's not busy. I'll send you to Greg.
Craig.
Greg?
Yeah. And she'll say, yeah, full name Gregory Richards. Goes by Greg to most people. I think even just, clients, things like that. He's on the legal team.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
He
a
should
lawyer.
he should have some information. Yeah, and she tells you his office is on like the second floor.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, ma'am.
Oh, well, now I remember you.
He gives that big grin. I was like, thank you, man.
All right, cowboy, go on. But yeah, and after a while, you get to this guy's it's like Gregory Richards Esquire or whatever, and he's one of the
Pomp.
yeah he's one of those he's like on the city's legal team, and he does like all their kind of like lawyery type paperwork. Just he's in house. Doesn't do much other than that. But you open the door, and he's like,
Hello.
do you all need something?
Yes, we were sent up here. I'm Maya Green. This is Landon Cartwright and Lloyd Sunburn.
Pleasure.
Sir.
What is this about?
We would like to investigate. We're from the university. We would like to investigate the Crowley Manor, and it is foreclosed.
Oh,
We'd like to have access to it, please.
yeah. Let me think. And he kind of sits back and he does like one of these where he's just like kind of moving his fingers like this, and he's like, Crowley. Ah, yeah. The city got that one. Oh, what? 2 years ago from the bank. I'm planning on developing it, but zoning, all those kinds of things, they take time, even when the lawyer works in house.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean the keys are somewhere. What do you need? What do you need it for?
We just need to
Investigating.
go inside the
Investigating what?
house.
There's noises and lights going on and off in the house.
Oh, that's troubling.
We'd
Do you
like
need
to
a
make.
police escort?
I don't think so.
Nah.
No.
The
Well,
police have
just
already looked and have come up with nothing, but they're still getting complaints, and so we'd like to look into it.
all right. You mind if I make a call?
I don't mind at all.
All right. You see him pick up his phone and he dials a series of numbers. He says, "Oh, hey, Chief. Yeah. Greg. I got some folks here looking into that Crowley house. Is that okay if they go poking around? You guys got anything there? Isn't dangerous? No? Uh-huh. Sure. Okay. All right." And then he hangs up the phone. He says, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll, who would have those keys? Records, maybe?
I can go back to the records.
Records?
Sure.
You know where that is? Third floor?
Fourth floor?
Not the fourth floor. You don't want to
That's
go.
divorce.
Third floor. There you
Third
go.
floor. Sorry.
Yeah, don't go to the fourth. Ugh. Okay.
Is it that bad?
Have you ever mediated a divorce?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Don't.
Understood.
Don't. You don't get paid to them.
Out of character, you're making me want to go to the fourth floor. Like, I almost want to be like, boop. Let's
That's
go
the
see
real
this shit
horror.
show.
The bureaucracy. All the justices of the peace.
And bitter people.
Yeah,
Great
and bitter
combo.
people. Yeah. Happy people don't go to the fourth floor. It's not just divorces, it's like bail. It's like all of that just bullshit you got to go to City Hall for. Like paying parking tickets, like all that shit's on the fourth floor. Yeah. Yeah, where do you guys head?
Back to records.
Back to records.
Let's go see our favorite kid.
Yeah, same kid. Sitting there. This time he's smoking. He's got like a vape like hanging out of his mouth, like halfway. It's like a jewel or whatever. That tub filled with files still sitting on the counter.
Hey, I didn't catch it earlier. What's your name?
Huh?
I didn't catch it earlier. What's your name?
Why?
I thought it would be polite. I'm Maya.
Okay.
Okay. We were sent here by Mr. Gregory Richards to get the key for the Crowley house.
In the bin.
No, it is.
It's in the bin.
I go look at the bin.
Yeah.
I stare at this kid in astonishment.
Where can we follow you?
What?
Oh, Casey did the thing.
Casey. Oh no. Heather, you're the game master.
Yes! Everyone dies.
Oh no. I'm Landon Cartwright. I'm a cowboy.
I can still hear y'all as I'm trying to get my camera to work.
You're good. Well, until then, you know who.
Okay. Lloyd had asked where to follow him.
He would look up at Lloyd and say, like, aren't you like old? Uh-oh. Oh, Gavin's muted.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'd say Lloyd would kind of like sigh sadly and walk towards the bin.
As you guys get to the bin, you can see that like all his file folders are still there. You don't see any keys.
Like, the keys aren't in here.
What do you mean the keys aren't in there?
Should be in the bin. The keys aren't in here. They're not in the bin.
I turn and show him, like, where do you see a key, bright-eyed, bushy tail?
Is that?
It's nothing.
What? He looks in, then he goes through some of the files. He's like, huh, no key. Sits back down.
I look at the register.
Yeah. You see there's like a few people who have signed in, all from like a week ago plus. The last person who has actually signed in, you get a name. Let me look here. Mortimer Tallergan.
Wait, say that one more time.
Mortimer. And then Tallergan. So it's Talorgen.
Does it any other information with it?
Nope. Just a date, and then time in, time out. It's a little over a week ago.
Landon be like, has anybody else asked for this killer?
I don't know. I'm not the only one that works here. When was
Landon's
that?
starting to lose
What day is
patience
it?
with the kid.
What day is it?
Friday.
Thursday.
What day was it?
Thursday.
A week ago, so last Thursday.
He like picks up the clipboard and he looks and he says, yeah, that wasn't me. I wasn't here.
I'm sure.
I don't know. Last person to sign the thing was this Mortimer dude.
Okay. You ever seen him before? You know the name?
Maybe. Yeah,
Does
he's
he
probably
have
been in a
class?
couple times.
Does he like the university or any idea?
No. Let me check something. You see me kind of looks. Also make a smokes roll.
Give it to me. Kidding.
You gotta expend those
One of these times
resources.
I'm gonna fail.
6. Okay. Yeah. He looks for a second. And he says, "Oh, yeah, I got him on Twitter. Does that help?"
Actually, yes. What's his hand? Yeah, give me his handle.
Yeah. Looks like it's at what is that? Oh, what a weirdo. Morty Magic.
Magician.
He didn't look like a magician. He looked like a
Is there a
dork.
K on magic?
Yeah, and the I is a 1. And that O in Morty is a 0. Skipped over the A though. Yeah,
You may
that,
write that down and then fix it, you jerk. Ethan.
that's how the kid would describe it to you. He'd say it and then he'd tell you piece by piece what the letters are. And it's not that he skipped the letter A. It's that the A should be a 4, but it is just an A. It's kind of what he's trying to communicate.
Oh, so it's actually an A.
Yeah, it's just a regular A.
Son of a bitch. You know when you scratch one out, you can't just.
Yeah, that was just for you.
Yeah, I know.
Your
Thank
own
you.
personal torture. But he's like, yeah, he was
Why
talkative.
are we such good friends? Damn it.
He was talkative like you guys.
Okay.
Too much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You've been a real help.
What days do you work?
What day is it?
Thursday.
Thursday. Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
What is in that jewel?
What are you, fucking cop?
Do I look like a cop, son?
Be a Texas Ranger or some bullshit. I don't know.
Could you
If
say
I wasn't, just answer the question, please.
what's in
You
it's
should
what's
probably
in
tell
it.
me,
Look,
Coca.
yeah, I do. Well, they give us our schedule by the week. I can't tell you. It depends on the week.
Okay, you've been a lot of help. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Whatever.
Watching. I do that thing like as I walk out.
He just gives straight up flips you the bird. He's got no qualms about that.
Hate this.
As we walk out, I'm pulling up this Twitter. So
Yeah.
this
You pull up at Morty Magic. And you can see the sort of display name is the Great Mortimer. It's kind of the one that he's got currently. There's nothing seasonal going on or whatever. And yeah, you can see like give me a flashlight roll to find something that's usable out of all these tweets, because homie's got a pretty poppin' Twitter page.
flashlights.
Yep.
9.
9. Nice. Yeah, you go through all these and you see some stuff. You see a few tweets. One of them is like, "Get ready for something big," and it was like 2 weeks ago. And it's like, then you get another tweet that's like, came like 2 days later. It's like, no greater feeling than learning something new. It's like real. This guy doesn't know how to use Twitter. You get a couple replies that are just like a bunch of emojis, and it's on like other people's posts. Some retweets. It stays pretty current with the news, it seems. But yeah, and then like the last thing you catch is like dated sort of like last Friday, or whatever it was, where he signed in. I can't remember what I said 10 minutes ago.
A week ago. So.
A week ago, yeah, like it was like last Friday or something like that. It was like, they really just hire anybody to work in public service, huh? Which leads you to believe that you probably dealt with this individual. Yeah, and there's a tweet right after that that's like, "It's good to get started on a new project." And you can see, like, just looking through, all these tweets have like 2 likes, maybe 1 or 2. No retweets ever. Not a lot of replies either. It's not a very active Twitter account. It seems like he's more on the side of interacting on Twitter and like just like posting things out into the ether than he is actually like having a community or anything like that.
I think Maya has like her like normal business Twitter, like blue check mark, all that shit. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
maybe.
That might. Do you want the responsibility of having a blue check mark on Twitter?
the hard responsibility that comes with having that.
It could bring its own issues, right? How well known are you as an author? This is a real question.
We can talk about that after this. But I think she has another private Twitter.
Okay. Has it got the little lock? It's got the lock.
I don't think it's locked down. I think it's just a different Twitter.
It's a personal Twitter.
Yeah, personal. Where she follows like all the like crazy conspiracy and all that stuff. She would reply to the last tweet with, "Love to hear more about it."
Okay. Yeah.
And it has her location, like Arkham.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you don't hear anything back for a while. I don't think. Is there anything you guys would like to do? Like, what's your next move? And Morty's not that desperate to just be interacting on Twitter. I mean, he's got to play it cool. Also, I'm opening a cam. We'll just have that happen. I'm not going to try to be sneaky about it.
What do you guys want to do?
Lloyd would get another bottle of water.
Yep. Yeah. Fridge is still there.
Or 2.
That kid ain't gonna care.
He's not going to stop you. You can take the whole thing and he wouldn't care.
Or maybe 3.
Save it for
Yeah.
the next time that we have to come back here.
I don't know. He's definitely just staring at the kid right now.
We're going. Let's go.
Oh,
Just
we left?
let's
Did we left?
go. Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Kid's still on his phone. And I say that as somebody who is in that age group. Like, I'm not disparaging the entire age group. This kid's just a shit. Like,
It's fine.
he's absorbed in his phone because he's got no time and no patience and no desire to do a good job at his job. And that's fair. That's valid. I just want to put that out there. He is fine. He's doing his best.
You said that you wanted to go check out the house, and we don't have a key. I'm waiting on a response from this magician guy, so I guess we could just go stake it out.
Yeah. I mean, do
Or
that.
you guys could, and I could go back to the university and try and clean up some of those old
Oh.
papers.
If you go back to the universe,
Mm-hmm.
I know that it seems like I'm not letting it go, 'cause probably not. There is a white that's there. Maybe you could just ask about
Okay.
Crawley. I know there's a white there. We'll go back to the house just to kind of see. Are you
Okay.
up for that, Lloyd? Or do you want to go back with her?
I think I'm gonna go with her.
Okay.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Don't like rush in or anything. Like try and break the lock or call me. Like call us if anything comes up, okay?
Understood. I'm the one here saying that maybe we should go in at the daytime. Like,
Setting
I ain't
ground
trying to
rules.
catch.
I want to be there when things go down.
Right. Understood.
Okay. Come on, my car's this way, Lloyd.
All right. And as you once again go your separate ways to do some more investigation, I think we're going to call it here for the night. Because
Cool.
you guys are on the cusp of getting into that point of no return where I don't want to stop a session. So I think we're going to call it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been horrific, spooky gaming. It's been more investigation this time, which is going to be the norm. I just want to manage expectations here. Going to be doing some investigation, and then the really bad shit happens. Not always the same session. Not always one session. But yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed all of the colorful city of Arkham. Which will only get more and more colorful over time as we continue to add things to it. But yeah, I think what do we do at the end of a show? Like, what do we before we end it? Do we like repeat the stuff from the beginning?
Yes, we go back over the next times we'll be seeing.
Okay, so if you want to tune in again, which how could you not after an evening like this? Sunday we'll be playing Cyberpunk Red. Full rules. Can't stress that enough. It's pretty cool that we got this.
Come watch us destroy things.
Yeah,
We're
things
back
are
Night City.
heading back to Night City. Things are gonna undoubtedly go to shit. There's just no way it can't.
And I believe we have a Rich playing Sunday night.
Yeah, I think we have Rich and maybe even some other returning friend.
Maybe, but
who knows? But come back then, and if you can't make that, maybe your Sunday's busy. Maybe you just like to chill. That's fine. Come back on Wednesday for Blades in the Dark. Our good friend Mike is going to run that. Going to run us some Blades in the Dark. And yeah, things are also probably going to go to shit in that one too. It's just kind of the way things go. It's not interesting if everything's fine. Um,
Wouldn't it be just better if it was just peaceful? Like we keep hyping it
you
up.
know,
and
they
then-
do have pastoral RPGs, like where it's just I go to town and buy some shoes. Those exist. We don't play
Mhm.
those here though, not yet.
No.
But I think that's gonna do it for us. I think we're gonna head out for the evening. And since Dave is not here, I get to say the fun words. As always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.
Bye bye.